Today, I want to talk about what's coming soon to MLB The Show 24. If we take a look at the calendar, we can see on July 12th, we got a few things. Starting off with the 2024 All-Stars coming to Team Affinity Chapter 2. Each team's going to have one player for that. We also have a 2024 All-Star Week collection, a 2024 All-Star Game event, and then a Season Awards Drop 6 program. I would imagine a pack in the shop. And then also on the 14th, we're going to have the draft for the 2024 season, that MLB draft coming up. But today, I want to specifically talk about the All-Star Game content collection events. Maybe we'll get some programs, what's going to kind of be coming with the All-Star Game, the Home Run Derby itself. But a big focus for me today, it's going to be Team Affinity Chapter 2 here in Season 2, the 2024 All-Stars. Because just right here on the calendar, we can see, oh look, there's a 97 Mike Trout. We've been getting some 95s, the Lightning card, that Giambi. We have the 97 Soriano, 97 Nolan Arenado from the Season 2 collections. So that has me really wondering, and let's just start this video off by saying I would love all y'all's thoughts, hopes, wishes, predictions, anything like that, anything to do with the 2024 All-Star content, what you want to see, what you hope to see, what you think we might see, anything like that. I would love to see it, love to discuss it down in the comment section. But if we take a look, we have Chapter 1, Team Affinity. Every team got an 89 overall. So I think it's pretty safe to assume we're probably not getting 99s from Chapter 2 of Team Affinity. Let's go ahead and take a look at Season 1, Chapter 2, and we had 93s. I think there would be an uproar and outrage. I think I would personally be dumbfounded, shocked, stupefied, whatever words you want to say. I would just be mind blown if Chapter 2 of Team Affinity here in Season 2 was 93s. I would just be baffled. You know, there's not a good enough word to describe how I would feel, except maybe all the ones I just said. But with us getting 95s, with us getting 97s, I really can't see them giving us 93s for Team Affinity. We already know that whenever Chapter 3 comes out, that's going to be 99s for Team Affinity, just like it was last season. That's already a given. But I'm so interested to see when July 12th rolls around, what are the overalls of the Team Affinity cards going to be? Because if they're 93, no one's going to want to use them. If they're 95s, that's going to be solid, but we're already getting 97s, so we're going to just continue to get cards that would replace them. And the All-Star Game is one of the biggest events of the year, some of the biggest content drops they do, and it would kind of surprise me if they only gave us 95s for those All-Star cards. Now, I don't think they're going to give us 99s. I think there's absolutely no way they do that. I don't think I would expect them to do that. But the All-Star Game, like I just said, it's one of the bigger content drops of the year. It's one of the bigger events of the year, just in Major League Baseball in general, which kind of makes it one of the bigger events in the year in MLB The Show. And when they don't do sets and seasons, in the past when they've done All-Star Game content, we've had 99s by now with that kind of natural year-long power creep. So we get some 99 overalls, 98s. I think there was either a 97 or a 98 Trey Turner All-Star card for maybe 21 that people kind of used year-round, even with that power creep, even with those 99s. But we did get 99 overalls, the Home Run Derby champion, All-Star Game cards, things like that. So I don't think we could expect 99s, maybe with the Home Run Derby champ or like the All-Star Game MVP, something like that. But when it comes to the second chapter of Team Affinity, I just don't think they jump up from 89s to 99s. I think that's just zero chance. So it's kind of like, okay, anywhere from 93 to 97 overall is what I would expect. Maybe 96s would be a good middle ground. I don't know if I could see them doing 97s. I think if I had it my way, I feel like I would probably do 97s. I just don't know exactly what I think would be the best, you know, because that might devalue the price, or just overall, I guess, just it might devalue, you know, the World Series rewards, flawless rewards, collection like Nolan Arenado. So maybe even less people might want to play ranked seasons and go for World Series to try to get Mike Trout or Soriano if they did 97s. But at the same time, you know, with them releasing 97s already, that means, hey, we're in the near future going to be getting 98s, 99s. We still probably want people to be using these Team Affinity cards, these 2024 All-Star cards. So I'm really interested to see what they do. I'm curious if y'all have any hopes, predictions, thoughts on what overalls you think you will see, or maybe you want to see. I think it's got to be either 95, 96, or 97. I don't see it being lower. I don't see it being higher. And I really don't know what I think it's going to be, because the first chapter, like we saw, is 89, and going to 97s would be a big jump. It would be strange to me, just the way they've been doing content this year. If 97's the most recent World Series reward, I don't know if I see them doing that for Team Affinity, but I really don't know what to expect, and I'm curious what y'all think and what y'all want to see from this next chapter of Team Affinity, from those 2024 All-Star cards. The next thing I want to talk about is the 2024 All-Star Week collection, just kind of going down on that coming soon part of the calendar. I don't know what that's going to be. I don't know what that's going to entail, what cards we're going to have to collect. If I had to guess, and this could be completely wrong, if I had to guess, it's going to be All-Star Game Series, right? They've been releasing these All-Star Game cards. Let me see if I can find another one that I maybe wanted to see. There's an All-Star Game card, but in addition to those, as maybe I can't find one right now, they've also had Home Run Derby cards. I guess this is an All-Star Game pack, so I couldn't really expect it to have Home Run Derby cards. But they've been releasing, in addition to the All-Star Game cards, we can see the Giambi one right there, they've been releasing Home Run Derby cards. So I'm kind of thinking that All-Star Week collection would maybe be one of those special collections or something like that, or maybe it would be just somewhere in here, but I would kind of assume it would be under the special collections. And I would guess, again, this could be completely wrong, I would guess it would just be All-Star Game Series, Home Run Derby Game Series cards. And I'm wondering if that would include the All-Star cards from the 2024 season. I would think so. I would think that it's going to include cards from the next chapter of Team Affinity. It even says All-Star Week collection, so maybe it's going to be some of the bigger name players. I could see them, instead of Team Affinity for the Reds with Elly De La Cruz. I mean, I don't know, actually. Do the Reds have more than just him for All-Star Game selections? I should have done a little bit of research before this video, but, you know, fan favorite players that they think people would really like, I could maybe see them saving that for a collection, just guys we already know are in the All-Star Game, because obviously on the 12th the All-Star Game hasn't happened yet. I don't think the All-Star Game is till maybe next week Tuesday, like the 16th or 17th, something like that. But either way, we're not going to have players from the actual All-Star Game. We're not going to have players from the actual Home Run Derby for the 2024 season. So I'm curious to see what cards they give us, what players they give us for that All-Star Week collection. Is it going to be guys that are All-Stars this season? Is it going to be 2024 All-Star cards like the Team Affinity is? Or is it going to be cards from previous years? And are they going to have us collect these retro cards, the All-Star Game Home Run Derby, in addition to this season's cards? I'm really curious to see how they're doing that too. That's another thing in the comment section. I want to see, what do y'all hope to see from that collection? What do y'all think we're going to see from that collection? Those are probably two different things. You know, I feel like that's been the case a lot of the time this year, where what I hope to see and what I think we'll see are usually two different things. And I guess next up on the calendar is that 2024 All-Star Game event, also starting on the 12th. I'm curious to see from that, are we going to have a 2024 All-Star player as the reward, or is it going to be a previous player? Because I would assume we'll be able to use the retro cards like the Trout, Soriano, Giambi, that Home Run Derby, you know, cards from All-Star events in previous years, previous seasons, in addition to the 2024 ones that are coming in other areas, including probably the 2024 All-Stars in Team Affinity. I would assume those cards will be usable as well. I would kind of assume too, I mean, this isn't really going to tie into the All-Star Game events. I would think would probably still be going on after the All-Star Game, at least for a little bit, but we're going to get cards, the All-Star Game MVP, guys that had a good game, guys that had good moments. We're going to get Home Run Derby cards for the 2024 Home Run Derby. I would assume those will end up being usable in that All-Star Game event, and I'm curious to see, is it just going to be stuff in the pack shop? Are we going to get a program that gives us All-Star Game, Home Run Derby cards, maybe one or two cards from each event in there, maybe a pack or two from whatever they release in the shop? Because I'd be surprised if they didn't release a pack with the cards as well. They kind of do that every year anyways, and especially in MLB The Shop 24, you know, I think it's kind of a no-brainer that that's probably something they're going to be doing. So I'm just really curious to see what we get on the 12th, and then how they end up rolling out the content once the All-Star Game actually comes around, once the Home Run Derby actually comes around. Will we be getting any programs? I don't see a mention of a program on the calendar, but again, that's before the Home Run Derby. That's before the All-Star game. That's stuff is happening on July 12th. So I'm really interested to see once July 12th rolls around, once the Home Run Derby, the All-Star game rolls around, how are they going to end up doing the content? This has been such an interesting, such a weird, such a strange year for Diamond Dynasty. And the All-Star game, the Home Run Derby being two of the biggest events of the season, a lot of times two of the bigger content drops, some of the more exciting cards for the year as well. I'm real interested to see how they end up doing everything. If we end up liking it, if we end up hating it, it's going to be really interesting to see what it ends up being like.